Hey everybody, welcome to my greenhouse. I wasn't expecting to do English gardening videos, but I guess I haven't found content as similar to mine, so I just decided to go for it. So I'm just gonna start a little bit late and show you guys what I'm doing in zone 3 to wake up my strawberries, and also how to determine when to water your interior garden plants that you started under the lights. Beautiful 5x5. So I got a whole bunch of strawberries from the hardware store from Canadian Tire last year, and they were $1 each little plant. And I had some big pots too here. So I got some big pots and I got some small pots. These big pots have like 2 plants in them, and the small ones have 1 plant in them, which is weird because they were in my garage all winter and the flowers stayed on them all winter, and some of them sort of produced. So I'm not sure if they completely fell asleep, but they were definitely slowed down. Alright, so since I'm not sure that my strawberries were completely dormant, I decided to give them a little break this year. So when I'm going to plant them out, I'm going to keep only 2 of each kind, and I'm potting them up in a hanging basket. So these ones are the ones that I'm going to stress out to make babies. The plan is to have all my other ones in the garden, and as soon as they get shoots out, I'm going to cut them off and make sure that they produce more strawberries than they do shoots to try to reproduce. And these 2 are going to be like really stressed out, and once they start hanging out of the basket, that's when I'm going to grab them, put them in pots, and then keep them for next year, and then start over and get as much babies into the ground as possible. Because I know strawberries, I think they produce like in their prime for 3 years, and then you have to replace them. So this is just going to be like a ongoing thing that every year strawberries I replace some plants, and I'm probably going to give some away because there's going to be way too much for me. I don't want to have like a huge like strawberry setup here. So that's what I'm doing with these guys. So I'll be right back to show you guys how I really wake them up in my greenhouse, but first I'm going to go show you how I water my plants and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. When I go to water my plants, okay, usually I start out when the seeds are not sprouted yet. I will water from on top and make sure that it's always humid, okay? And when they're not sprouted, you get a nice plastic cover on top of it to make a greenhouse effect, which I do have on my French videos out there. And as soon as they start sprouting, then you take it off. Like these ones are getting ready to be transplanted here in a bit because they're getting a little crowded. So that'll take a bit more space. But I'm on the verge of getting everything in my greenhouse anyways with a little heater. So when they started to sprout, what I do to prevent mold to happen, I wait until the top layer of my mix dries out. And then I water from underneath. Alright, so I got a little bit of green on my peppers, but that's completely normal when you have something that's really humid. And you could probably put a fan in here. I don't put a fan in this area because this is my entryway, so we open and close the door a lot, and there's a good air circulation going in here. What I wanted to mention is it's really important to look on your seed packets to see the germination rate, the percentage. My percentage on my packet was 88% for my peppers. So I planted 2 seeds per pot to make sure that eventually I have one in every pot. So my onions are at a point where they're really, really high, my onions and my leeks. When they are higher than my hand, that's when I tend to cut them. And the girlies love it. See? Here, Jude. Here, Jude. You want to eat that? Yummy, yummy. Here are my onions from last year. I still have about 15 pounds left, but they're really gorgeous. These are a hybrid variety. There's nothing wrong with getting hybrid onions as long as they're they're organic and untreated, then it's fine. The only thing is that you won't be able to plant them in the garden and get the same variety as you would, let's say, these ones here. These are my cipollini onions that I wouldn't be surprised because they're not conservation onions, and they lasted till now. So I'm going to keep these ones and plant them in the ground. These are also another heirloom variety that I'm going to keep for seeds. How I wake up my strawberry plants. They were in my garage all winter, and so what I'm doing is I brought them in my greenhouse and I potted up a few, and the other ones I just have them in a shaded area in my greenhouse, and I'm trying to keep it relatively cold in here because the strawberries really like to have that cool environment. So I just don't want them to burn with the sunlight right now. So I just have them, like these ones have been out and they're just starting to sprout, so the fresh sprouts that are coming out of the crown are just like starting to get exposed to the sun. So I'm just making sure that it's not too hot in here, and at night that it's not too cold as well. So if I get like a -5 degrees Celsius, I will turn on my fan, because what's pretty cool about my greenhouse is I have my fan exhaust of my stove coming in here. So right behind my retro radio, there is my fan exhaust. So the hot air of the house comes in here at night when I blow it, and so it keeps the temperature relatively cool, but it will not freeze. Alright guys, so that's how I water down my plants and how I wake up my strawberry plants. So if you like this, like the video, share it, and subscribe. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will be happy to answer them in another video, and so I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!